everyone. I'm Shane, the bee charmer, and today's class will be a little bit about what it takes to manifest all your hopes and dreams. Right here in a box. Right here in a box. And this book is a wonderful introductory into how impactful your mind is, not only on your environment, but on how to get from point A to point B. Imagination Station is right here. Like every design, everything that, like this microphone on my chest right now. Somebody had to think it. Somebody had to imagine it. It was a dream at one point, and now it's real. And now in our, high vibration world, in our society where we're talking about manifestation all the time, and how high vibrations, for example, are what we want to align with. Well, how do we see physically what we are imagining? And with a charming frequency, you will see what it takes. Now, you can take that all the way to toxic positivity, right? If someone's always positive, that's probably toxic, right? Well, I would like to prove them wrong. And I will start with a little bit of a brief history about something that I have been through. And now, keep your vibration high, because it's your vibration. The way that I talk has nothing to do with you. The bees came here with their own frequency and their own vibration, and it is pollination vibration. You can only see the seed or the fruit thanks to a pollinator. Some things are self-pollinating, right? Well, how could that be? Where are your roots? Does anyone know where your roots are?
Ancestral.
Right here.
Yeah.
In your gut. We have the same chemical things happening right here and right here. So if this is more, higher, and this is more lower, we know we need both. So if you're out there spraying Roundup, and you eat wheat, and it goes into this thing, you are destroying bacteria. Bacteria creates culture. What is culture? That's what we're all talking about, right? Culture.
Transfer of nutrients from your gut to your body.
There you go. Transfer of nutrients. Absorption. So if you are eating, first off, let me say you should be able to eat anything, even a poop sandwich. But if you don't have what it takes in here, it might be hard for you to digest those things. Not only that, if you do not have your own frequency and vibration, are you secure at all? No. Not only that, then what happens when you are insecure? Open cells. Open cells, incomplete molecules. Cancer. Susceptible to disease. Yes, thank you. So, bee venom therapy is something that I do and have worked on for about 12 years now. And I used to not talk about it because I killed the bee. And, I even went through all kinds of personal things to try to make it okay to do what I was doing with the honeybee. And then I developed a cool method using these hook tweezers that you are now seeing hopefully everywhere, where we keep the bee alive by taking the bee, applying it for treatment, and then swooping underneath, grabbing the stinger, and lifting the bee off with its stinger simultaneously so the bee stays alive. Now, I'm only about 90% effective, but I used to not talk about bee venom therapy specifically because of that. We're going to hold questions for a minute.
Your name?
Shane.
Shane what?
Bee charmer. So, the backstory. The backstory is only a personal story because of maybe life is a little challenging. The elements of life can be very, very challenging. And if you are not able to stay optimistic, the frequencies that cause anxiety lead to depression. Depression is contagious. Now, the bee's vibration, we know, is a certain frequency. that certain frequency is being tested all over the world right now, including Germany, for healing post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. Not only that, breathing the hive's air is also proven to heal certain things. But as we know, bee venom is destroying cancer cells. And you gotta watch how you talk, though, because of course there's a whole Western medical industry that does not quite allow for certain things. But this is the book that I would love for anyone getting into beekeeping to read. If you have not read this book, this person is real. These are real testaments, but of course, if you just go out and say it, nobody will believe it. But I met the people in this book. I've been in a couple of movies with all these characters. There's another movie called Queen of the Sun. There's another movie called Swarm Season. I highly recommend watching them. There's more than meets the eye. Let's just say, when it comes to bees, stretch your imagination. Stretch it. Allow yourself to be a kid again. Play with bees. I don't know if life is a game. However, there are things in life that I can tell you are much like play. And, nothing brings me back to myself better than playing. Playing with kids. Playing with bees. Playing with my lover. Playing with my friends. Even making money. Playing with it. I know it's easy to take everything serious. I get it. It really is. It's so easy to take everything serious because we're talking about matters of life and death. We are. However, if you're living life to die, are you actually living? So that's this book right here. Shamanic Way of the Bee is the best introduction into beekeeping that you can really ask for. And yes, if you want very scientific data, go to a guy on YouTube named Jamie Ellis. He's a pioneer. And Jamie Ellis. Ellis. I'm not good at spelling. Yeah. All right. So basic tools while I give a little backstory. So I moved to this island 10 years ago. And I had worked with killer bees prior, and only killer bees. And a lot of beekeepers in that time especially, they were euthanizing hives. And if you look in Australia right now, because of the mite, they are euthanizing hives. They're pouring petroleum inside beekeepers' hives. And they're not even testing mites. They're not even testing the mite count. They're just euthanizing hives. So if I could describe something that takes our information, our requests for life to manifest our reality, it's the honeybee. So at a minimum, we say things like, if not for bees, we wouldn't be here, right? We say that a lot. But do we know what we're saying? So connect the dots. If not for bees, we don't have things. Just because of, that mango on that tree requires an ant or a bee for pollination, let's look at all the things that come from that, from food, and then eventually water. So we know that water holds memory, and now we're going to talk about the sacred structure. So I remember about 8 years ago, I was standing right here in my first ever Plant Aloha class, and I was talking about hydrogenated water or structured water. And I wanted to call it elemental water back then because nobody believed me. Of course, my family's been calling me crazy since I was a little boy, so I'm used to it. It's fine. I don't mind. You can't look the way you look, and nobody's going to listen to you, Shane. You can't dress the way that you dress. Nobody's going to listen. You have to wear a suit and tie. You have to shave. You have to cut your hair. Okay. By the way, I might actually register to vote. Did you hear Bobby Kennedy's running for president?
Yes, I love him.
Right?
I love him.
I've been in a room with him speaking. And do you know he has to warm up his voice for 45 minutes just to talk?
Can we go and keep drinking?
Bobby Kennedy.
Oh, but yeah, but yes,
So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to veer off there. But that's part of what the backstory is. An example is trauma, right? PTSD. So when Bernie Sanders was running, I caucused for him. And after that tragedy, I was like, I'm done. I'm never voting again. This is all a lie. This is all BS. Da, 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 da. And now any political sense of someone that I might feel some hope or inspiration in regards to triggers that trauma. Takes me back to standing in line here in Hawaii, waiting for hours and hours to caucus for nothing, right? That's what trauma does. And so then when you're standing in line again, your vision begins to glaze over and take you back to your trauma. So the person standing in front of you may show up as the person that stood in front of you causing the trauma. You have to heal that frequency. You have to heal that vibration. One of the easiest ways to do it is right here in this box, the honeybee. So we've proven this. 528, right around there, we have frequencies. These things are, you might be hearing on social media too, that the bees flapping their wings is creating the hexagonal shape of wax inside their cells. This is very true. And the ability to put it all together. Imagine the constant teamwork necessary. But also, imagine over time, trying to fix every singular problem, right? The thinking that you knew best, trying to fix every singular problem that you come in contact with. The other thing is, it's like, if you take all the species and you give them a glass of water, here, you can drink a glass of water or this bottle of processed alcohol. Well, the bees are always going to go to the water. The animal is always going to go to the water. But over time in confinement, over and over again, we, humans, continue to grab that bottle of alcohol. And then before you know it, it's habit. Then before you know it, it's addiction. And before you know it, you don't even see this. So, once again, let me remind you, stay in your own frequency and vibration. The backstory, elemental water. Now look, hydrogenated water is super popular now. I remember taking a 5-gallon jug right here, standing right here, using my structured water unit, putting on top of the exact same 5-gallon jug, pouring the water, and it's spilling a little bit, and people are like, like overflowing. You have to see things in order to believe them. I get it. I get it. So, your imagination will attract to you what you imagine. You can have what you want. You've got to get to that point, though, and to that degree of you're not missing it. There isn't a missing element. You know, you don't need to have it today. Your daydreaming, your fantasies, enjoy them. The fantasy, to me, is just as good as having something. Because nobody can take that away from me. Nobody can tell me no. I don't even have to say it out loud. But if I have one person that believes in me, and I say it to that person, and they put a smile on their face, boom. Another person, boom. Another person, boom. That's why I love community. And that's why I'll never quit on community.